Hello, hello. Welcome to Healthy Perspectives, a podcast that takes on current cultural and social issues through a clinical lens. Hello, hello. All right. For those of you who are brand new, thanks for joining us. For those of you who have been with us for some time now, we always appreciate your time. We will do our best to make sure that it's worth your time. Today, your tip of the day is stop assuming because it makes you act unintelligent. Stop assuming. It makes you act unintelligent. And we're going to do this in two ways. Now, normally, I come in here and I talk about one topic at a time, but today I'm going to address two different topics. First, I'm going to address some insurance stuff because, again, back on the podium is all of this Affordable Care Act garbage that is driving people absolutely nuts with these billions of dollars in subsidies, your money, my money coming out of taxes. I know I pay my share. And if you pay yours, well, then you're probably wondering, why are we spending all this money subsidizing insurance companies? Because that's essentially what's happening. We're going to get into that a little bit, but then we're also going to switch gears and we're going to talk about Epstein. Now, I don't think I've talked about Epstein on the podcast yet, but in light of what's been going on here and to stay true to our mission to talk about current social cultural issues, I think it's appropriate and maybe even a little bit necessary that we address the Epstein files, the way that they're being released and all this stuff. So we're gonna spend a few minutes on that as well. So without further ado, what I want to do, there has been this really interesting thing going on online. And this woman who sounds like she's actually in my profession is posting something that I want you all to hear and take part in. The reason that I want to do that is because there's some points in here that I want to make, but it's going to make a lot more sense if you hear it firsthand. So I'm gonna cut over to that. Just listen. Here we go.
I'm about to crash out over my health insurance. So when I was on maternity leave, I got my hours cut down to what's considered part-time, 24 hours a week, and I lost my health benefits. My husband and I are both self-employed. In my other job, I'm self-employed as a therapist, so I don't have insurance options. My husband doesn't have insurance options, so I worked a job essentially just for the insurance, and then they cut me out my hours down to part-time. I looked at the marketplace today and we don't qualify for any subsidies. So insurance for our family of 5 would be $2,500 a month. I'm not paying $2,500 a month. I'm fine paying cash because we don't go to the hospital, but I looked at a hospital catastrophic plan. I don't qualify because we make too much money. I have no idea what to do. So find me working at Starbucks 20 hours a week with a master's degree because I need health insurance desperately.
There's a lot going on here. Let's start out with her first words. I'm going to crash out. What the hell are you talking about, lady? If you're a mental health provider, crashing out, not going to fly. Folks, we have to do better than that. So now I'm talking to my own profession. This is not what we do as a profession. If you got into this profession and you're going to crash out, you need to back out because you are not going to be any good for anybody else. I know, a little therapy take on that. So that was just a little frustration for me because I see this stuff happen with therapists. Like that isn't an option. Look, and it's okay. Look, if you need to crash out, I'm okay with that. But get out of the profession first, because this is not the profession to be in. If you're going to be a healer, a helper of other people, you got to keep yourself sound. So you got to get yourself together. That's one. All right, set that aside. Family of 5, interesting, self-employed, also interesting. Let's be real. In my profession, if you're self-employed, you should be doing just fine. She could afford the $2,500 a month. That being said, I wouldn't pay the $2,500 a month either. That is unacceptable. That is far too much. Qualifying for subsidies. What does that mean? Folks, if you haven't listened to some of my podcasts on insurance and how insurance is the biggest scam, you need to, because she said she needs insurance. That is somebody who bought a lie. Bought it. Just accepted that reality is I have to have insurance. That is false. If you are out there and you are functioning from the premise that you have to have insurance, that insurance has not existed the way that it does now for thousands of years. Now, why do I say that? Do I want to go back to thousands of years? No, not at all. What I am saying is this whole premise of you need insurance is a load of crap. And if you have bought that, that is a nasty, that is a poison apple. Most of you do not need insurance. Do I want you to have insurance? Sure, if it's affordable and reasonable and it's going to cover the things that you need it to cover or want it to cover more often than not. Sure, great, have insurance. But if it's not affordable, you don't need insurance. You're not going to die tomorrow because you don't have insurance tomorrow. That's not how it works. Matter of fact, more than likely, you would probably live healthier tomorrow if you weren't dependent on insurance. Why? Because when we think we've got it covered, we eat crappier. We stay up all night doom scrolling. Why? Because we think those are fine and we're not worried about our health. We're not paying attention enough to the basic core things that make you healthy. Matter of fact, since the Affordable Care Act, we have diminished our lifespan. It's almost a year shorter since the Affordable Care Act began. We have increased obesity. We have increased heart disease. We have increased diabetes, almost doubled diabetes in the last 11 years. Almost doubled. That's less healthy since we've had to have insurance. And the reality is you don't have to have it. There is no fine. There is no penalty if you do not have insurance. Now, many of you out there are like so consumed by this poison apple that you're like, I have to have it. For you, I would say, why? What are you protecting? Do you own a house? Do you own cars? Do you have assets that are worth money? Because if not, what's your insurance doing? It's not making you healthier. So what is it doing? It's costing you a bunch of money. Matter of fact, I did this with AI a while back. I did a podcast on it. If you are in poverty and you are paying for insurance, even at $50, $60 a month, it is helping to keep you in poverty. How does that work? What would you use that $50 or $60 for if you didn't pay for useless insurance and these massive deductibles? You would use it to help get you out of poverty. Now you're like, but $50 or $60 is not enough to get you out of poverty. Bull. If you could invest $50 per month into a typical stock plan and get 8-9%, which is very modest, and you do that month after month after month, what happens in 15, 20 years? You're not poor. Facts. Go try the math. That would be a fact. You would not be in poverty. So many of you who are protecting assets you don't have, well, what if something happens to my car? If something happens to your car, let me guess. Most of you out there have car loans, which means you're still going to be stuck with a bill. That health insurance isn't going to do a darn thing to help you there. For some of you, health insurance is absolutely necessary. I get it. Okay. Other things you want to know in there. Subsidies. Where did those come from? They come from all of us. And when that $100 million or $100 billion in subsidies kicks in this year, well, if they were to move it forward, and they haven't yet, that comes out of all of our pockets. Whether you're rich or poor, it comes out of your pocket. That's just a reality. That's where it comes from. So, do I understand the desire for insurance? Sure. It makes us feel good. But for most of you, for most of us, it isn't actually necessary. Now, as we age, it becomes more necessary to protect the assets. But if you don't have assets, it's still not necessary. What are they going to do? Come and take your house? You don't have one. What are they going to do? Come and take your car? You don't have one. What are they going to, I mean, look, if you don't have assets, there's nothing for them to take. Okay. Health insurance is designed to get you back to work, and that's it. That is it. Anybody who sells you anything else is giving you the poison apple. Don't eat it. Stop assuming you need it and ask yourself, what am I protecting? And don't say my family, because there's other things you could do to protect your family. Number one, life insurance. If something were to happen to you and you die, leaving them something to bury you, leaving them something, to help them cover the next several years of salary, great, do that. Life insurance, by the way, is affordable. It's not in this realm. $300-400 a year max for most of you, unless you're really unhealthy. Okay. Long-term disability. That way, if something did happen to you, you could maintain some percentage of your income until you get back on your feet. Probably wise, by the way. Very affordable. Very affordable. Health insurance, not affordable for most people. All right. Now I'm going to get off of that insurance thing because I get all fired up about insurance. It is possibly the biggest poison apple you have been fed for the last 10, 15 years. You have to have insurance. That's just not true. You only have to have it if you're insuring assets that you have. If not, what are they going to take? I mean, come and take my 3 pairs of jeans. Like, they're not going to do it, by the way. They are not going to come in and take your jeans. They're going to come in and take your fine art. They're going to come in and take your car. They're going to take things that have value, not things that don't have value. Okay. Now, I don't want anybody to be in that position, by the way. I'm not I would rather we have affordable health insurance, but we don't. So don't take it. Use cash and pay for it. By the way, almost every doctor, every mental health professional I know, almost all of them have a significant discount if you pay with cash, which means it might be more affordable for you to just see the people you want to see, your chiropractor, your mental health professional, your doctor, if your kid breaks their arm, and get a scan. And you could do that for hundreds a year, not thousands a year, all on your own. All right, switching gears, like I said a minute ago, but I didn't do it. We're going to switch gears into this Epstein thing. Look, this whole Epstein thing, I'm going to give you one of my first takes on the Epstein thing. First, I want to start with pedophilia. Dude, that is messed up. Let's be real. Socially, culturally, that is unacceptable behavior. Simple as that. I want to be abundantly clear. I am not going to be here justifying any person's participation in any kind of pedophilia, and definitely not any forced sexual acts, whether that's pedophilia or not. I don't care if it's somebody who's in dire times and they're doing it like that. That is essentially forced sexual behavior. Not a fan. Prostitution, not a fan. Not because I don't understand what those are, but because I understand what they are. People who are desperate and then they use their body to meet desires or needs, which, by the way, most prostitutes, not all, but most escorts, most prostitutes are doing this because they are in a pickle. They are in a situation that they feel like that's their best way out, which sucks. And I don't want that for anybody. That being said, I want to jump into this Epstein thing. I'm going to be honest. I think most of you out there, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe you'll come back and tell me, dude, that was the dumbest take ever. But I think most of you at this point are more concerned, not about who did it, because we know that this is this is running on both sides of the political aisle. Like it's absolutely naive for us to think anything else. Why? Because since 2000 and what, 2008, 2010, somewhere in that vicinity, when Epstein was, when it was found out that he was a pedophile and that he was taking people to this island and all this stuff. We've had Democrats in administration. We've had Republicans in administration, and this stuff still has not come forth. What does that mean? There's a whole lot of protecting that's going on, and it's a whole lot of stupid protection that's happening. That's it. That's what it means. It means on both sides of the aisle. Now, what will come out? It's still hearsay. There's a little bit more coming out right now, but not a ton, if I'm being honest. And it's all slanted. Everything that's coming out right now is totally slanted. Here's what I would do. This is just a take. We care about transparency. That's what is being done right now. Or not done. It's what's being said right now by the general population. Because without transparency, remember, truth, authenticity, and transparency is the way to build trust. So right now, we have people on both sides of the aisle who do not trust the government. So for that reason, the clearest, most simple answer that there is complete transparency. And when I say complete transparency, look, I don't know how to protect the victims in this situation. Matter of fact, I sit with people who have been harmed in situations, traumatized, raped, assaulted, both sexually and physically assaulted. I have sat with people who have been victims. I have sat with people who have been persecutors, who are the ones enacting these things on other people. It sucks. There is nothing good, nothing comfortable about it. In this situation, and look, I'm not going to assume for the victims, but I got to be honest. There is a relief in knowing that it's known. There is. And the victims may not know that until it's known. They might not see that there's relief in it until it happens. That being said, the last thing I want to do is harm a victim. That's not the goal here. So from a therapeutic lens, because of the high profile nature of this, what I would say is twofold. First, what should happen is every victim should be notified that this is going to go public. Every single one of them, so that they can begin to prepare for the knock on the door, the media in their face, or whatever that might be. And they should be afforded the opportunity to make a plan. Now, should that be done by the government? No, because the government is potentially harming them essentially by covering all this crap up. They should work, in my opinion, they should work with their people, their support network that they have in place. And if they don't have one, then they should be given the opportunity to have one, which means whatever funds they need to have a mental health professional, doctors, a psychiatrist, all that kind of stuff. They should have that in place, and they should establish for themselves whether they want to talk or not. That's simple. And if the answer is no, they do not want to talk, then fine. Their name is out there, but they're not talking. So move on. Leave them alone. Now, can we do that? I think we can. Will we do that? I don't know if we will. But I think that's step one, is notify all of the victims. We are going to go public with this. Get your affairs in order so that you can manage this in a way that is good and healthy for you. Then, after a short period of time, release the whole thing, names and everything. Because what that does is it makes it transparent. Everybody knows everything. And the media will do its thing. They will twist it, turn it, all of that stuff. But let them get it out of their system, because they're going to do that one way or the other. They're already doing that. They have been doing that, and they will continue to do that. And let the truth be known. Once that happens, then we can see it for ourselves, and we can make intelligent, respectful decisions. This person wants to be left alone. leave them alone. Maybe we give them, a period of time. We give them security to say, look, they have security. They do not want to talk. Security is the one helping them turn people away. Just provide it for them. That would be wonderful for those that did not want to talk. Now, most of them probably can't afford that on their own. Maybe they can. I don't know what their financial situation is. Maybe they're all super wealthy. Maybe the victims are the ones who are trying to cover this up. I doubt it. It seems unlikely. But maybe this stuff needs to go public. I do think the victims should have a say in setting up their system first. And then secondarily, that stuff gets released out publicly. And then we have to manage ourselves. When somebody says no, do not victimize them again. I don't care how much you want to know their story. If they're not in a place to tell it today, wait. You could do is there a time that I could potentially come back and ask? A year, 6 months, 2 years? And maybe they're going to say, I don't think so. Great. And maybe a year or two down the road, you check in and just say, hey, just wanted to know if you were willing to tell your story yet. The hard part is they're going to get that from like 50 different media sources or more. So they're going to have to say no, 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 no. They're going to have to keep doing that, which is really hard. That's why they need that upfront information of like, this is going to go public. Get yourself ready. Give them the chance to prepare. Now, out of that could come lots of things. I could see a scenario where somebody was so embarrassed. And so like, I have come so far from where I was, and they get into a really dark place. I've seen this happen where they become maybe even suicidal or self-injurious. They hurt themselves. That's a possibility. That just means they have not done the healing that they need to do. It does not mean they are a bad person. And if you judge them for it, you suck. Don't do that. People are sometimes not very good at managing the overwhelming emotions that can come from a hard life. That doesn't mean you got to judge them. Love them through it. Give them the space and the time to figure it out. And do it with patience and kindness. And if we were able to do that, man, we would get to the other side of this, and it would be probably something really, really good for us as a nation, frankly. Now, this is a purely therapeutic take. So, take it for what it is. It means I don't know the stories of all of the victims. I don't know the stories of all of those that were in power. There's going to be a lot of humility and patience needed in a situation like this, and courage. Oh my gosh, the amount of courage that it's going to take for everybody. Even like we know Clinton went out to the island many times, apparently. Like imagine Bill Clinton being confronted with facts about this situation. Be patient with him. That doesn't mean let him twist it into his own story, because that's messed up. People might do that. And these politicians will probably do that as good as anybody to try to get you to believe something that's not real. But give them the time and the space to figure it out. Okay? When it all comes out in the wash, we will, through these hard things, be better if we have transparency, truth, and authenticity. It's okay to be in an ugly place. Just do it authentically and transparently and with truth. Not your truth, my truth crap. Talking about the truth. And we could all come out better on the other end. I think that's a possibility. So that's my initial take on the Epstein thing. Obviously, this comes from a therapeutic lens. I spend my time and my energy helping people heal through these kinds of things all the time. And unfortunately, it's not just on the Epstein Island thing. This stuff happens. It happens in your community, in my community. People are being harmed in different ways, being bullied, sexually assaulted, physically assaulted. This stuff happens in every big town, every small town, every city. every truck stop. Folks, this is real. This is real life. And if you don't show that you can handle it well, then that's on you. That tells us more about you than the situation. I hope you're hearing my message. I hope this is clear. And I hope this is helpful. Above all, I want to be helpful. I want people to heal and get better. If you know somebody who could benefit from this, please share this with them. Like, subscribe, do those things. We want to help people. That's our goal here. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening. We appreciate our audience a lot, so we give you some simple ways to track us down. Please like, subscribe, and follow all the podcasts on different platforms, but you can also email us at healthyperspectives@protonmail.com, or you can check out our website at healthy-perspectives.com/podcast. It's a backward slash. So if you want to go to our landing page, if you go to healthy-perspectives.com, you'll still find us. You just got to click on the podcast button. Thank you so much.